Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Amelia.
Okay. Okay. So let's just talk about me, like, as a kid. What was I like?
You were really stubborn, but you were always a go-getter. You always really knew how to get what you wanted. If you wanted something, you would make it happen for yourself within seconds. You didn't believe in authority. It was a really admirable quality.
You were admired by that?
I wasn't at the time, but now looking back at it, yes, I was very admired by that.
So why do you think I was that way? Why do you think that I, like, got whatever I wanted? I was really stubborn. Like, what created that kind of mentality?
Maybe you were just that's kind of a tough question for me to answer. Like based on how we were raised, based on like how where you were in the family, being the second of six fucking kids.
You're allowed to curse. It's fine. But before Jack, Josh, and Kara and Chloe were born, like, I guess, no, actually, I guess it's fine. So how did mom and dad raise us?
What?
How did mom and dad raise us in a way that contributed to that?
Well, they definitely spoiled us when there was just the two of us. So they kind of had money to throw at us, and I remember that we were also used to getting what we want, but you really had a tough time when you were rejected or you weren't allowed to get what you wanted. You didn't stand for that. I remember.
Interesting.
And
So,
even you always from an early age knew how to stand up for yourself.
were you that way?
No, I was not. It took me 22 years to learn how to stand up for myself.
So what were you like as a kid?
Timid, sweet. A lot of people tell me I was really sweet and are wondering what happened. And I go, growing up, everyone's so mean. It kind of like ruined my soul.
Very interesting. So at what age do you think, so if you were to say that you're a driver, an amiable being a nice person, an expressive person, or wait, what's the fourth one? Damn it. Driver, analytic, or an analytic. What are you? So a driver, analytic, amiable, or expressive?
Expressive.
You'd say an expressive? How so?
I'm very animated, and I really live in the moment. And if I'm feeling something, everyone in the room will know it.
So do you think that it helps that I was a driver and you were an expressive?
I think it's good to have diversity in the family.
Okay, so when we were children, is there anything that I did that made you mad? Or, like, how did I annoy you? Or did we get along?
No, I remember we fought a lot. We were competitive with each other for our parents' attention, and if we didn't think we were getting treated the same way, or someone was getting treated more elite or whatever, we would have an issue with that.
Um,
There was comparison.
what?
We always fought. Yeah, we really didn't like each other when we were younger. I remember mom screaming a lot at us.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I remember she would scream and scream. We didn't like each other. I just remember really not like we weren't the little girls that bonded. Remember when we used to go on vacation and move on vacation with other families and other daughters and sisters, they would get along. I remember they would get along, and like mom was always like, "I'm so jealous of like their families. All get along with each other. Even the Coopers, Elizabeth and Alexandra, they got along better than we did."
What do you think went wrong? Because now we're so close, so, like, why do you think we didn't get along for such a long time?
We were young and insecure. Also, mom had more kids, and I think that might have been the reason.
Let's talk about that. So we're, we have a family of 6 children. How did that impact who we are and, like, how we grew up? Let's hear it.
Well, there's a lot of mixed feelings about that question. Okay, so let's start on a positive note, and then we can slowly graduate to the negative. I think it made us learn how to share our toys. I've definitely come across a lot of people in my life who did not have grew up without any siblings and are completely self-centered and all about me, me, me. Oh, but it and they live on their own schedule and they don't make room for anyone else. I think that's a great quality. We're not selfish people. We think about others. We understand we're not the only ones in this world. They're aware of our surrounding. Also observant. I feel like when you live with a lot of people, you kind of have to be an observant person, and you're used to being around a lot of different types of personalities. I think that's good for the real world. But then I'll get to the downside. We couldn't financially support 6 kids, and we struggled a lot, and it created a lot of tension and fights in our household, a lot of fights.
So how do you think that the lack of financial stability contributed to who we are as people, who I am as a person, and then we'll talk about you?
You're very assertive, and you learn how to run yourself.
Talk about jobs. Talk about jobs.
What?
Talk about like my jobs.
You knew from a young age, wow, I'm in a family of 6 kids. My parents struggle. I'm going to go get a job. You really knew how to get a job. You really knew how to self-employ yourself and stick with the job, and it's awesome.
So, how about you?
Well, I am really, really flaky. Well, when I was younger, I was very flaky when it came to the work world, and I was always quitting jobs and everything. That's what you want to know. But recently, I've really found my niche, and I'm more of an artist. I'm more into the acting and modeling world, so I definitely strive there. I wish it was like more consistent and I made more money, but I have to pay, so I have to figure out. But what do you? I just kind of learned to do. I really learned. I mean, not really so much of our family, but growing up in Scarsdale, I learned what I didn't want to do, and I just didn't want that corporate mainstream life that most people have. That I grew
Right.
up with. I'm much happier doing what I do now, even though today kind of sucks. But
And what are you doing today?
I am playing a black girl on the TV show called Rise. It's a CBS show.
Cool.
Oh, no, actually.
What?
Yeah, great. I'm really hot, so I'm gonna take this off. NBC show.
Okay. So, oh no. We have poor connection. Okay, so growing up in a so what were our parents like? What were mom and dad like towards us as when we were younger? Like what were they like? What was dad like?
What I can remember, he was goofy, very goofy and nice.
But was he really a dad?
He was more of a dad back then than he is now. I think the 6 kids wore him out.
So you're saying that when we were younger, he was like a more present father than he is now?
Yes, I do believe that. I truly believe the 6 kids wore him out.
Okay. So how do you think that contributed to like how I became who I am? Sorry, this is a very self-centered interview, but I have no choice. So like, dad was a very tentative father when we were younger, and then it slowly went downhill as he had more kids. Like, how do you think that impacted me?
I think it made you angry. I think it made both of us angrier when our parents decided to keep like mobbing him out. I think it made us. It was putting a lot of stress on our family because we couldn't financially support mother's decisions. I mean, our parents, they couldn't support their own financially support their own decisions. That's very personal. I hope no one's taking notes. So yeah.
No, you're allowed to get personal. That's the point. Okay.
Who's watching this?
My teacher, but that's irrelevant. Okay. So. Okay. So. Do you have any stories or anything that you can think about from me as a kid that have any indication as to what I was like?
Sorry, I'm very depressed. I can be here. I'm really sidetracked. Stories about you as a little kid. The Lake George story when we were fishing, and you were fishing with this other girl, and you were talking really loudly, and the girl said, "Shh, you'll scare my fish." And you go, "My mom says I can scare fish." You always kind of have a comeback.
Wait, I always have a what?
A snarky remark.
How old was I when that happened?
Okay. No, you were young. You were like 4. So I remember like solo visiting every time.
Wait, 1 second, Sarah. 1 second.